Actually, it's the year before last now, was it last year? Certainly a year, 18 months ago, called The Asylum, which was filmed in a disused lunatic asylum on the south of London, near Croydon. Good place to have a lunatic asylum, really, right? Near Croydon. No, near Croydon. Oh, sorry. That was a gamble, and I only blew it with two of you. It was great. The lead part was played by Ingrid Pitt's daughter, Stephanie, who was very good. And it was about the family of a doctor played by Patrick Mower, who their mother had been hacked to death sometime in the past in this asylum. And for some reason, all the characters in the thing were all drawn together, dead of night, of course, to this place in the middle of nowhere, which is empty and deserted. And they filmed it in a real empty and deserted asylum, which was a spooky feeling, because there were literally rooms there where it's almost as if people just walked out and left everything. So there were case notes and bars and chains and things. It was really horrible, and it wasn't a film set, it was real. Except it was being used, and it was dark because it was all boarded up. And it was a very spooky place. I have to confess that, you know, occasionally you can think, oh, I'll just nip back, you know, to get in the lunch queue before everybody else, you know. Don't even keep waiting, do we, for our lunch? And you suddenly find yourself taking the wrong turning, going down some corridors in this place which is, you know, I don't know if you agree, but old buildings, the stones almost absorb the emotions of people who've been there in the past. And places like lunatic asylums are kind of spooky. And we filmed there for a couple of weeks, and then I had to come back and do some more retake. I was playing a kind of John Sabadell character, you know, out of Coronation Street. I was the property developer who was coming to take over the asylum, and I was bribing the local authority official to make sure that I got my bib was the one that was opened, and the murderer got me beautifully. Oh, I spent half a day lying in a pool of blood. It was lovely. Do you know, I always find horror films, I don't like horror films, I don't like watching them, I find them too scary. So actually to be in one was great, because I was the one who did that thing. There was a person coming towards you with a knife, you know, and none of us knew who it was, because I don't think they decided on the end at that point. So, you know, there's just this prop up guy, you know, you see the knife out the side of the camera, and I'm supposed to go, "It's you!" Well, I don't know who the bloody hell it was. But it was great, but it's not been released. It's been released in America. It may well go direct to video now. It's a shame, because I went to the screening of it, and there were some cracking performances in it. It was quite spooky. Very good. Robin Asquith, he doesn't get his comeuppance. He said, "I must have spoiled it for you, but you may go and see Asylum one day." Nunhead Films. Nunhead was the name of the disused asylum. So if you get a chance to see it, do, if you like blood. Sir?
What about being in Doctors, Colin Baker?
Doctors?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, see, that's an episode of Doctors I did this year, in which, quite unusual for me, because I'm a great animal activist, and I was playing the guy who owns the place that experiments on vivisection and has smoking beagles and things like that. And I had a heart attack when the protesters had a go at me, and I was wheeled off to hospital with a heart attack. It was great fun. I enjoyed working with Chris Timothy, who's a nice bloke. I got to play golf, which is wonderful. When I went to meet the director with a view to playing this part, he said, "Oh, do you play golf?" I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter." And so they had me. The first scene was me playing golf, and I'd never held a golf club in anger in my life, right? So a quick bit of instruction from the golf professional, and they said, "Right, we want you to make a bad stroke and chip it over there." So my very first ever golf stroke, I took a swing with this bloody great thing, and whacked it, and it went straight down the fairway and landed on the edge of the green. And they said, "No, Colin." I said, "I've got no say in the matter. I don't know what I'm doing." I just said, the second one, I missed completely. The third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, I missed completely. And on the eighth one, I hit the ball and it did go off at an angle. But isn't that somebody's law? You're supposed to do it badly, and by chance, you hit a good one. If only there was money on it. Eh? So that was great fun. I enjoyed doing that, yes. It was nice to go back to Pebble Mill, because I've worked there many years ago, when I did The Brothers, funnily enough, and All Creatures Great and Small was done there. And it's a lovely studio. Anyone come from Birmingham? No. Such a beautiful place, they're all staying there. Who else? Sir?
Using pantomime last year at Wickham Swan, what did you think of Louise Jameson's legs?
I was in pantomime last year at the Wickham Swan. What did I think of Louise Jameson's legs? Well, I think they do a very good job at holding Louise Jameson up. And she's somebody that's well worth supporting. She gets my support any day, along with her legs. No, I mean, to be honest, I can't bring her legs to mind instantly, but I can bring Louise to mind because she's a smashing lady to work with. She's, you know, one of the good guys. You know, she works hard and she's balanced. She has no pretensions that being an actor makes you any different from the rest of humanity. She's a thoroughly good egg, is Louise, and we got on very well. We had a few laughs together. It's good news. I miss her in EastEnders, don't you? They've only got people in EastEnders now who can't talk. Because Louise made the mistake of being able to speak, you see. So they got rid of all the family except the one who can't talk. They all seem to be incapable of talking. No one got any vocal cords. Weird, have you noticed that? It's almost, oh no, can't have him in it. No, I'm sorry, we can hear what he's saying. We'll realise the script is rubbish. They're not true. Please.
Colin, who currently holds the auntie that Doctor Who won?
The auntie? Oh! Well, I think Sylvester got it and he's holding on to it.
Is there a chance you could see it at one of these events?
Well, you're asking me? I haven't seen it. I think Sylvester let Peter have it for 5 minutes. And I wasn't there that night. I was invited. I thought, oh, what's the point? We're not going to win anything. Typical, you see. And we did. Lorks a mercy. So, yeah, I think we should have one each, don't you? All of us. We should all have one each. Because you're as important to Doctor Who as Sylvester McCoy. I mean, if you hadn't watched it, it wouldn't be there, would it? No, quite right. So I don't even know what it looks like. Any more? Simon. No more Souls Ark films planned at the moment, as far as I know. Sadly, there were kind of problems editing that, insofar as the people concerned didn't know what they were. No, there were problems with it anyway, and the producer had to kind of gather all the material together and do a sort of edit. Sadly, the cameraman, the director, didn't work out their scripts properly, so it was quite tricky to edit. So the people who put up the money for it lost a bit of money on that. It's a shame because the script was extremely good. But as always, when you're trying to get these things done on a low budget, sometimes the people you get who come and work for nothing, they don't know what they're doing. It gets a little tricky. I won't say any more than that. So. Yes? Oh, sorry, your girl. No, it's because you're a friend of Janet, I'm making you suffer. What was your favourite moment of the day today?
No, I won't answer that.
Yes, my dear pretty young thing.
Thank you, that's better. Any parts that you would like to play, in afterwards, or the opportunity's never arisen?
Any parts I would like to play, the opportunity's never arisen. Well, I suppose all those parts like Hamlet, I must reluctantly accede are no longer on the cards, as I'm a little older than 23 now. What I would like to play isn't a part that already exists. It's a part where you're the first person to play the part. And just like John Thor got to play Morse, one of those parts that everyone thinks, oh, or David Suchet playing Poirot. To be the first person to do something would be quite nice, because even the Doctor, even though I was the first to play my Doctor, other people have played the Doctor. So it's a little bit vain, I suppose, to want to be associated with something, but it would be nice to have the blank sheet, as it were, a script that nobody else, because whenever you do something like Hamlet or You always have in your mind other people's performances. And ditto with almost any play, if you've seen it before, when you do it, it's hard to approach it completely fresh. So it would be nice to have something which I could seize with both hands and make mine. Have you got any ideas of something I should play? I always think Fred Elliott's long lost brother would be good for me. I say Fred Elliott's long lost brother! Is Coronation Street big enough for two of us? Sir? Last question. Is it a really good one? Go on.
I recall an interview that you did where you mentioned you was going on to do some work in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Did that come to bear, and if so, how was it?
No, I don't recall that.
It was on daytime TV programme. I think it was. Which
Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
No, can anybody cast light on that? You sure it was me?
Yeah. Sure
it wasn't Sylvester Baker? Or Tom McCoy or something like that? No. No, I have
Would you like it?
no memory of that whatsoever. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Again, it's one of those things you're following in the steps of others, but it's obviously, you know, something which would be great fun to do. But I really can't recall what might have led you to think that. Is that the end? I'm being told, because there's more exciting things happening now, I'm being told that that is the end of our little session. You have been lovely. Thank you for asking us to try.